Welcome everybody to another video of Ancient Greece Reloaded. Today we will talk about the famous Oeneus, a king of Calydon, the father of Meleager and Deianira, and the grandfather of the famous hero Diomedes. By the way, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, so stay tuned for upcoming videos. Overall, Oeneus was a legendary king of Calydon in Greek mythology, famed for being on the throne during the time of the Calydonian Boar hunt, as well as being the father of Meleager and Deianira. Oeneus was the son of King Porthaon and Evriti, and those brother of Agrius, Alcathous, Melas, Leucopevs and Steropi. Porthaon would rule two neighboring kingdoms, Pleuron and Calydon, but when Porthaon died, these two kingdoms were handed to different individuals. Thestius, a brother of Porthaon, would become king of Pleuron, whilst Oeneus became the king of Calydon. King Oeneus of Calydon would marry his cousin, Alcathous, a daughter of King Thestius, and Alcathous would give birth to a number of children for Oeneus. The sons of Oeneus were those named as Meleager, Toxeus, Clymenus, Periphas, Thyreus and Agelaus, whilst the daughters of Oeneus were Deianira, Gorge, Eurymede and Melanippe. Of course, depending on the source, slight variations may exist. As was the way with ancient writers though, some suggest that Meleager and Deianira were not the children of Oeneus, but were instead born out of the relationship between Alcathous and Ares and Dionysus respectively. Oeneus would become highly regarded as a king, and was recognized as a hospitable host, often welcoming strangers to the royal court, and indeed Bellerophon was once welcomed to Oeneus' palace. Oeneus was also well regarded by the gods, and it was said that Dionysus presented Oeneus with a vine plant and personally instructed the king of Calydon in the art of winemaking. Every year afterwards, Oeneus would make sacrifices to all the major deities of the Greek pantheon for the gift given to him. One year though, Oeneus overlooked the goddess Artemis when it came to a share of the sacrifices. Artemis would not let such a slight, even an accidental one, go unpunished, and in retribution, Artemis sent forth a gigantic boar to ravage the lands of Calydon. To rid his land of the unwanted beast, King Oeneus sent word out across Greece of his need of help in killing the Calydonian boar. One herald of King Oeneus would arrive in Iolcus just after the Argonauts had returned from the epic quest for the Golden Fleece. Many of the Argonauts who were still in Iolcus decided to travel onwards to Calydon, and of course, as Meleager was the son of Oeneus and an Argonaut, he led the band of heroes to his home. Other heroes also joined the group, one of whom was the female hero Atalanta. At that time, Atalanta was present in Iolcus, competing in the funeral games of Peleus when Oeneus' herald arrived. Once in the kingdom of Oeneus, Meleager would lead the Calydonian hunters on the hunt, and of course, eventually the beast was slain. It was commonly said that Atalanta inflicted the first wound on the boar, after which Meleager delivered the killing blow. A dispute arose between Meleager and his uncles though, when the hero attempted to give the skin and tusk of the Calydonian boar to Atalanta as a reward. Now, some tell of Meleager killing his uncles, which then saw his own mother Alcathous bringing about Meleager's death. The five of Oeneus then committed suicide afterwards, whilst others tell of a war erupting between Calydon and Pleuron, a war which saw Thestius and his sons, as well as Meleager, dying in battle. In either case, the demise of the royal family of Pleuron would see Calydon and Pleuron joined once again, just as they had been in the time of Oeneus' father, with Oeneus now becoming the sole ruler of both. After the death of Alcathous, Oeneus would remarry, becoming husband to Periboea, the daughter of Oeneus, who was also called Melanippe. It was widely said that another son would be born to Oeneus by Periboea, a son called Tydeus. Though according to Pisander, Gorge was the mother of Tydeus by her own father Oeneus, because Zeus willed it that Oeneus should fall in love with his own daughter. Nevertheless, Tydeus would be forced into exile due to the murder of a relative or relatives. Depending on the source, it is said that Tydeus killed his uncle Alcathous, or his uncle Melas and his 6 sons, or else Tydeus killed a brother named Oeneus. The usual reason given for the killing was due to the fact that Tydeus discovered a plot to overthrow Oeneus. In any case, it was normally said to be Agrius, another uncle of Tydeus, who sent the youth into exile, rather than his own father Oeneus. The less direct male heir to Oeneus, Tydeus, would die during the War of Seven against Thebes, although by this time Tydeus had already fathered a son, the famous hero Diomedes. The lack of sons made Oeneus vulnerable, and the sons of Agrius decided to overthrow their uncle and place their own father upon the throne of Calydon. Not satisfied with sending Oeneus into exile, as it usually occurred in most similar events, the sons of Agrius instead threw their uncle into prison, where it was then said that the former king was tortured by his nephews. News eventually reached Diomedes of the treatment of his grandfather, although whether this was before or after the Trojan War depends on the source. Diomedes would come to Calydon in the company of Alcmaeon, a man who had once been welcomed in Calydon by Oeneus. Some tell of Agrius committing suicide after he was deposed by Diomedes, and some tell of Diomedes slaughtering Agrius and some of his sons. Diomedes was after all regarded as one of the greatest warriors of the day, and therefore Agrius and his sons were no match for the grandson of Oeneus. It was decided that Oeneus was now too old and unwell to become king once again, and so Diomedes presented the throne of Calydon to Andremon, the husband of Gorge. Diomedes thereafter decided to take Oeneus to Argos with him, but Oeneus would never make it there, for the surviving sons of Agrius, Thersites and Onchestus, lay in wait, and whilst traveling through Arcadia, Oeneus was killed. The killers of Oeneus were themselves quickly killed by Diomedes. Diomedes would take the body of his grandfather to Argos, which was then laid to rest in the mythical city founded by Diomedes named Oenoi, after Oeneus. Alternatively, there were no sons of Agrius left alive to kill Oeneus, and as a result, the former king of Calydon would live out his life in Argos, dying of old age. Finally, during the Trojan War, it was Thoas, the grandson of Oeneus by Gorge, who led 40 ships to Troy, making it more likely that the actions of Diomedes occurred prior to the Trojan War. Let us finish with the following saying: "That which is used gets stronger, that which is not used wastes away." Hippocrates. That being said, remember guys to hit the like button and to subscribe to our channel, it would help us a lot. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for upcoming videos.